Alright everybody, third time's the charm. This is a video rebutting a video made by Mr. Gavin McInnes. He is a Canadian talk show host on the internet and a well-respected speaker. He made a video a few years ago about certain things that Americans do and that Canadians and Northerners and people from different countries, what they should look out for when coming to America. And I'm here to say that some of those things that he said are not wholly 100% true, not in my experience, and this is my rebuttal to him and to all Canadians. This is what a Southerner, a Texas Southerner, the average Texan, feels about what Mr. McInnes said. First one, soakers. Mr. Gavin said that Americans don't know what a soaker is, and we don't even talk about them. And he's right, we don't. We don't have a word for it. We all know what it is. And I can't say that I can really understand where he's coming from about the cold part of it, because I live in the South where we have about 10 cold days a year and no snow. Like it drops below 20 degrees, people just stay home. And getting your sock wet, yeah, that really sucks. We all know how that is. And I would just soon take a butt whooping as walk around with a wet sock and shoe for 8 hours. S'mores. Mr. McInnes gets on our s'mores. We love our s'mores. He said that Americans don't know how to roast marshmallows. Yeah, I can accept that. Most Americans feel that s'mores are a food that you eat in cold weather. And particularly here in the South, I know that since we don't get a lot of cold weather, we don't eat a lot of s'mores. So therefore, we don't really know how to cook marshmallows. So we know what a s'more is. You just roast that marshmallow till it's good and hot, then stick it between some chocolate and graham crackers. So, and the chocolate and graham crackers makes up for the fact that you can't cook a marshmallow. So we love our marshmallows. You should try one. They're good. Next one, huge meals. He says Americans eat huge meals, and we do. We eat a lot, and we eat a whole bunch when we do. And I think that stems from when the Depression happened here in the United States, before World War II, so 1930s, 1940s-ish era. And it stems from a time when a lot of people didn't know when they were going to get their next meal, so they ate as much as they could at one time. And that still branches today. A lot of people don't know when they're going to get their next meal, so they just eat a whole bunch at one time so they can make it to the next meal, because they may not eat until the next day. And you need calories, you need energy. Next thing is we don't travel. And that's true. Americans do not travel. My grandmother, who is from Brazil, said that Americans don't travel. They don't do anything. And that's true. Americans don't travel because a lot of the time we don't have time to travel. And that stems from a society such as ours, the American society, where a person is brought up that you live to work. That if you're an adult, you work, and you work as much as you can to try to make as much money as you can. And fun be damned. And I try not to live by that. I try not to live to work. I try to work to live. And I think that's a lot of what people that are not from the United States, I think that's one thing that they do, is they travel a lot. You know, they want to get away from work. They want to do all that other stuff. But a lot of American jobs, they don't give you time off to go travel. They may give you a week to do things. And that's not a lot. If you ask for 2 weeks off In some jobs, they'll fire you on the spot for asking for 2 weeks off. To travel? No, you're not going to get that. You can say, hey, I'm going on vacation. You know, that's different. But you only get maybe 10 vacation days a year. You know, unless you're a woman, you have a baby. You just don't get a lot of time off from work. In American society, taking time off work is frowned upon because it's seen as you not handling your business as an adult. And that really sucks. Okay. Next thing, we hate the French, Mr. McInnes said. And personally, I couldn't care if you were French or not. I know a lot of people here in the South, we just don't care. We hate stuck-up Northerners, Yankees as we call them, more than we hate the French. I couldn't tell you one French person's name besides Mussolini, and that's just because I like history. You know, I couldn't tell you any person that was French. I've never met a French person. You know, and some people have an ingrained distaste of the French, and I don't know where that comes from. Like, I don't care. French have a lot of good food, except for the snails part. Ew. Next thing, we love the English, and we think that a lot of English people, and most English people, are well educated and smart, and that's true. We do, and that stems from, I believe, our view of American society for the last 200 years was that to be high society or to be wealthy was to be English, especially in the Revolutionary War to Civil War. Yeah, to be high society, to be in the upper 1%, upper class, was to be as more British than it was to be American. You know, you did British things. You played polo. You spoke French. You took classes at university. That's one thing that British society did that American society didn't. So if you did that, you were seen as wealthy and upper class. You know, being British was seen as being upper class, and that's something that's gone back hundreds of years, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Next one, Hollywood nuts. He calls us he doesn't call us Hollywood nuts, but he says we're bonkers about the United States Hollywood system, and there is a United States Hollywood system, as I call it. Americans are crazy about Hollywood, and Hollywood is something that a lot of Americans bond around as a family unit. Movies, you know, Americans have specific movies and actors that they love to watch, and it's something that I experienced in my own home. My father loved Robin Williams, loved a lot of his movies, and we watched a lot of his movies, and we bonded as a family around some of Robin Williams' movies. Rest in peace. And a lot of families do that. They have their own actors that they enjoy to watch, and they watch them and they bond as a family unit around them. And some Americans, some societies, find that it's really important to keep up with what people in Hollywood are doing, because that's seen as the new trends and such. And, you know, I personally couldn't care. A lot of people around me couldn't care less either. So, next thing. The Godfather, he says. That Americans love The Godfather, and a lot of them do. My father's one of them. My father knows The Godfather, all the movies, front to back, back to front. And he thinks it's one of the best movies that was ever created, and statistically it is one of the best movies ever created. Set of movies. And yeah, a lot of people watch it. A lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people think it's got more story to it than a whole handful of other movies. And it's got more love, more compassion, more violence, which is something that a lot of Americans like. Violence. We like violence in our movies. And The Godfather has a lot of it. Let's see. Oh, I can't even read my writing, y'all, and I'm driving. Oh, He takes offense at the thing. That people say, And this is something that I took real big of, not offense, but I want to clarify to Mr. McInnes and all Canadians and all other foreigners who come to the country who deal with this and take insult at it. And I'm here to say right now that it's not meant as an insult. It's just we are different as a society, especially in the South, and I'm going to probably dare say only in the South, that you are supposed to say yes. He says that he made an example that, you know what, that person did a solid for me, I'm going to man up and say thank you. Well, in American society, you're not supposed to man up. You're supposed to. You're supposed to say yes, please, thank you. Growing up, especially in the South, that you got hit if you didn't say please and thank you. You know, it's an automatic reaction to say please and to say thank you. Please hand me that. Can you please do that? Thank you for doing that. You know, and the is just as reflexive as the please and thank you. We know that you're supposed to say please and thank you, and and the person that did it, you know, that received the goodwill of the other, he's supposed to acknowledge it. So you say, thank you. And we see that as okay, because it's reflexive. Kind of like a lot of Canadians go, eh? And he says it, I don't know how many times, at least 20 times just in that one week. And we see it as just as reflexive a response as Canadians saying, eh. So the next time any of the Canadians come over to America and feel insulted by a person saying, just think how often that American feels whenever they say, eh. You know, it's just as ingrained as our society as yours is, eh. The last one, Americans are very patriotic. And yeah, we are. And rightfully so, we're Americans. You know, I take great pride in the fact that I was born and raised in Texas and I worked in Louisiana. A lot of pride. He said a lot of Americans have tattoos of their state. Yes, we do. I don't personally. We're patriotic people. America is one of the greatest countries in the world. You know, in our opinion, you know, some of the greatest music, some of the greatest movies, they come from and out of America. Yes, they are made by different people. You know, people from a lot of different countries come over here and make music, but the music comes out of America. You know, the Eagles, Queen, you know, Iron Maiden, you know, almost every big name in music that came out of the 70s, 80s, and 90s came from England. You know, it's movies, it's foreigners making the music, but it's American music. And Canadians, oh my God, how many actors came out of Canada that have revolutionized Hollywood? I don't know. You know, there are people who are from Canada that I never knew were from Canada. You know, we're patriotic people. All right, everybody, I'm gonna send a link to Mr. McInnes' video in the description, and you can watch that video and have your own response. And if you see that video and you have a response and it contradicts anything that I say, shoot me a message, and I'd like to talk to you about it. Don't be rude, don't be mean, don't be hateful. All right, signing out.